In nature, predators ignore the unremarkable. Coral snakes hide behind the colors of harmless mimics. Orchid mantises resemble flowers until their legs snap shut around prey. The Dominion dismissed human traders and laborers the same way. Background: noise in the Empire's machinery. The commander scoffs. Your children playing at war. The boy doesn't argue. His gaze holds centuries of patient predation. Millennia ago, human ancestors hunted mammoths with spears and traps. Tribes with stone tools toppled empires. The commander shifts, her exoskeleton clicking against the chair. She mistakes humanity's silence for surrender. Here's the thing about sheep, the boy says. Outside, an alarm sounds. Distant, routine. The commander doesn't react. They don't bite, but wolves do. The proverb isn't a threat, it's an autopsy. 5 light years away, key Dominion supply depots blink offline. Not attacked, not sabotaged, just silent. No distress calls, no explosions, like something swallowed. Them whole. The commander's tactical display pings. She glances at it, then stills. Humanity's teeth were always bared. The traders who mapped every weak point in Dominion blockades weren't merchants. They were scouts. The labor crews repairing station hydraulics memorized pressure points. The mask slipped the moment the Dominion forgot to check if the sheep still had fangs. Another alarm joins the first. Closer now. The boy tilts his head, listening to the pattern. His mouth curves, not a smile. The baring of teeth, a klaxon shrieks through the compound. The commander's display floods with crimson as the first supply hub officially registers, as dark. Not besieged, not compromised. Simply gone. The boy exhales through his nose. A quiet sound, almost relief. The Dominion's mistake was never underestimating human strength. It was forgetting how quiet wolves hunt. Fluorescent lights flicker as power reroutes. Distant thunder rolls. Not weather, but detonations. The commander's claws pierce the table. Behind her, the door seals with a hydraulic hiss. The boy's fingers go still. The war starts now. The command center's holographic displays flicker crimson, each flashing icon marking another silent outpost. Supply depots blink offline. Patrol beacons stop transmitting. The quiet is worse than screams. At least screams confirm life. The Dominion commander stares at the tactical map like she can will the signals back. Her claws flex, sinking into the console. Scratches spiderweb the screen. The boy leans forward in his chair, chains clinking. You didn't really think we'd stay sheep forever? His voice hangs between them, soft as a knife sliding into ribs. The commander rounds on him. How? The word cracks like a whip. No mobilization, no fleet movements. My sensors sweep every parsec hourly. The boy smiles. It's not an answer. It's a scalpel. For decades, human merchants crisscrossed Dominion space in rusty freighters. They hauled machine parts and reactor fuel, offered repair services and black market luxuries. Harmless. Invisible. The Dominion taxed their cargo holds and never thought to scan their manifests twice. History remembers how the Dutch East India Company mapped the Spice Islands while pretending to trade. How British tea merchants sketched Chinese coastal defenses between ledger entries. Commerce has always made the best camouflage. The Dominion's first mistake was assuming humans needed military ships to scout. Their second was believing trade routes were just for profit. The commander's console pings, another depot gone dark. She spins the map, searching for a pattern. The boy watches her like a chess player, anticipating his opponent's next blunder. Sharp edges, he murmurs. Dominion sensor grids detect metal alloys and ion trails. They ignore stellar radiation. Background noise, meaningless. Human engineers spent 20 years perfecting ships that didn't just run silent. They vanished into the cosmic static, riding solar winds like ghosts. The boy's people didn't need to hide their mobilization. The Dominion scanners never thought to look. Outside, the comms array crackles. The bridge crew freezes. Static hisses across the speakers. a sound between broken machinery and animal snarls. Deep in the noise, something pulses, rhythmic, deliberate. The commander's second-in-command stiffens. Something's breaching our... The transmission erupts, not words. A chant, guttural, primal, a sound that bypasses language and drills straight into hindbrain fear. The deck vibrates underfoot. The boys' chains rattle in time with the beat. The commander's head snaps toward the viewport. The stars twist. Outside the glass, space ripples, then parts. Human ships don't decloak all at once. They emerge piecemeal. A jagged prow here, a weapon battery there. Stellar radiation slides off their hulls like water. The fleet doesn't look like Dominion intelligence predicted. No clumsy warships, no obvious flagships. These vessels are patchwork, asymmetrical, some bearing scars from old battles. The chant swells, transmitted on every frequency. There are voices in it now, threading through the percussion. Not a distress call, not a demand, a countdown. The commander shouts an order. Targeting systems whine to life and stutter. The human ships aren't holding formation. They're moving to the chant's rhythm, synchronized but unpredictable. A Zelak dreadnought locks onto a human corvette only for 3 more ships to peel away from stellar static behind it. The tactical map floods with red. The boy stands, chains dangling. He looks at the commander like she's already relic. "Your sensors looked for fleets," he says. "We sent wolves." Klaxons howl as the first torpedoes breach the dreadnought's shields. The explosion paints the viewport white. The commander staggers, grabbing the console. Her second reaches for his sidearm, a burst of static. A warhorn's bellow. The human armada surges forward, riding the chant's crest like a tidal wave. The Dominion's perfect flanking formation collapses under strikes from every angle. Ships that should be bait wheel into kill positions. Vessels, marked as defenseless freighters, sprout missile batteries. The boy was right. They didn't hide mobilization. They hid teeth. The commander's console shrieks an alert, an unidentified contact eclipsing the dreadnought's wreckage. The scans come back scrambled, distorted by radiation. Then the stellar haze parts. A lone warship hangs against the black. Its hull is pockmarked with old battle damage, patched and repatched. One engine nacelle looks jury-rigged. The ship doesn't match Dominion records, doesn't match any known human design. It doesn't need to. Recognition sparks in the commander's neural augments before her conscious mind catches up. The damage patterns, their Dominion weapon signatures. That nacelle was severed by a Type 7 plasma torch. This ship isn't. Freshly built, it's a survivor. The chant cuts out. Silence. Then the warship's engines flare to life, drowning the stars in blue fire. The boys' chains hit the deck. The commander shouts something lost in the klaxons. On the view screen, the warship rolls, presenting its full broadside. The Dominion's blind spot wasn't stellar radiation. It was refusing to see prey could bite back. The first warhead impacts before the shields can recalibrate. The commander's last clear sight is the human ships fanning out, moving in perfect, terrible unison. The chant resumes over the comms, deeper now, layered with fresh voices. The boy doesn't join in. He watches the flames lick across the Dominion lines, his eyes reflecting the burn. "Checkmate," he says. Static drowns the rest. Static tears through Dominion comms like shrapnel. Not white noise, something structured. A pulse. Deep, rhythmic, guttural. On the bridge, the commander's neural augments register it as audio, then recoil. This isn't language. It bypasses cognition entirely, vibrating in the bones like a predator's growl. Human ships emerge from stellar static in perfect sync with the beats. Not a formation, an organism. Their movements aren't dictated by tactical algorithms, but by the primal cadence flooding Dominion channels. The commander slams a fist on the console. "Target them! Now!" Targeting systems whine, then stutter. Human vessels shift before locks engage, sliding between frequencies of the chant. Studies on combat cohesion show rhythmic coordination increases unit effectiveness by 18%. But these aren't soldiers marching. This is the neurological hijack of centuries-old instincts, the same hardwiring that lets flocks of birds turn as one entity. The Dominion built systems to counter strategies, not heartbeat synchronicity. The boy's voice cuts through the chaos, smooth against the rasping chant. We fight to rhythm. His words synchronize with a sudden pivot of the human. Fleet 30 ships bank left as one. Dominion torpedoes streak through empty space where they'd been seconds prior. Ancient Earth militaries used drum cadence to coordinate musket lines. Modern special forces employ rhythmic breathing to steady aim under fire. But this is evolution weaponized. The chant's lyrics aren't words, they're math, targeting coordinates embedded in vocal harmonics. A dreadnought's shields flicker as the human fleet's movements align with a particularly jagged stanza. The commander watches her tactical display with dawning horror. Human ships don't adhere to standard flanking patterns. They pulse outward and contract like a living thing's respiration, always in time with the audio distortion. Her gunners fire wildly, wasting shots on afterimages. One Zelak cruiser misfires completely, its plasma burst striking an ally's shields. The chant swells louder, voices layering. Then the rhythm changes. A new stanza erupts sharper, faster. Human vessels respond instantly. Corvettes slide into attack vectors while carriers hang back, their launch bays disgorging fighters' time to offbeats. Research on crowd behavior proves humans unconsciously synchronize footsteps with strangers on busy streets. This isn't unconscious. This is precision-tooled warfare wearing the skin of instinct. The commander's second-in-command shouts a damage report. Shields at 67%. Sensor interference spiking. The boy, still watching, tilts his head as if listening to distant music. His lips move silently, matching the chant's cadence. Three things happen simultaneously. A squadron of human fighters peels away in perfect helix formation. The dreadnought's starboard shield generator overloads with a sound like shattering glass. And the comm system, still hemorrhaging that cursed audio, suddenly clarifies one phrase in the chaos, a string of numbers spat in monotone. Grid coordinates. The commander realizes too late. The chant was never just psychological warfare, it's their firing solution. Human ships don't need visual locks when they're all moving to the same internal metronome. Targeting systems are irrelevant when every pilot breathes in unison. The first torpedo strikes the dreadnought's exposed flank. Then 6 more, each impact synced to the chant's pounding downbeat. Metal groans as compartments rupture. The commander grabs her console, her reflection warping in the cracking view screen. Behind her, the boy exhales, not a sigh. The satisfied breath of someone watching a plan click into place. The chant's tempo increases, dragging human ships forward like tides. They swarm the wounded dreadnought, their movements so precise they seem preordained. Final research. Note: under sufficient stress, even advanced AI targeting systems develop latency. Human muscle memory, conditioned by rhythm, near instantaneous. The dreadnought's last shield generator fails with a sound like tearing metal. The commander glimpses something streaking toward them. Not a torpedo, a battered warship riding. The chant's crescendo, its hull scorched with old Dominion weapon signatures. It fills the viewport, close enough to see the welding seams where they repaired the damage from last time. Then static, then light. Space twists unnaturally as the human armada reappears, not where Dominion tactical projections calculated, not at the weakened front lines where reserves clustered. Along the flanks, exactly where supply lines run thinnest. The commander's display lights up crimson, each contact pulsing like an open wound. The boy watches the patterns form, his face impassive. 23 years of human trade negotiations, of repair crews on Dominion stations, of merchants noting which depots stocked munitions versus food, all crystallized into these blinking points of destruction. The textbook definition of asymmetric warfare scrolls through the commander's neural feed. Conflict between opponents of unequal strength, utilizing unconventional tactics. The Vietnamese tunneling under French forts. Afghan shepherds disabling. Tanks with WW2-era rifles. History is littered with empires that mistook technological gaps for inevitabilities. The Dominion's sensors sweep the human ships now, still outgunned, still outnumbered on paper. That paper burns in the crucible of reality. 4 Zelac cruisers pivot to engage, their formation textbook perfect. Human corvette responses look sloppy by comparison. No parallel lines, no standard intervals. But the math underneath is murder. Each erratic maneuver avoids optimal firing solutions while herding Dominion vessels toward dead zones. The commander's lips peel back from her teeth. She recognizes this. Not military doctrine. Hunter behavior. Wolves isolating prey from the herd. The boy's chains lie discarded at his feet. Unpredictability is what topples empires, he says, not looking at her. His eyes track the battle through the viewscreen's reflection. You studied our history but missed the lesson. Rome fell to migrations they dismissed as chaotic. His finger taps once against the armrest, in time with a human gunship's sudden detour. Chaos is just pattern recognition failing. Case study 449B flashes in the commander's augments. The Battle of Trafalgar. Nelson's fleet-breaking formation to cut the French line. Contemporary analysts called it suicidal disarray until burned ships proved otherwise. The display before her mirrors those ancient reports, human vessels moving in apparent disorder. Except every feint and juke positions Dominion ships where their overlapping fields of fire cancel each other. Exactly as smugglers once navigated, Dominion customs grids to avoid inspection scans. Alarms blare as another depot hub goes dark. Not destroyed. Dark. The distinction matters. The commander's claws dent the console's edge. Human operatives didn't just infiltrate supply chains, they memorized every blind spot in their own surveillance. The weapons trained outward, never considered threats already inside. A chime sounds. The commander's second stiffens. New contact, bearing 037. Not cloaked, not hiding. All eyes turn to the viewscreen. A single warship drifts into scanner range. No sleek lines or polished hull. This vessel looks cobbled together from salvage, patched armor plates, mismatched thrusters, one entire section visibly welded from different classes of ships. The scars aren't just battle damage, they're meticulous records. The commander's augments tag weapon signatures, pockmarks from Dominion pulse cannons, weathering from Type 7 plasma torches, the distinctive radial scorch of aborting parties, breaching charges, the chamber air turns to ice. This ship shouldn't exist. It bears every wound the Dominion ever inflicted on human forces during the decades of peacekeeping operations. Bias and sensor programming flares, the system initially dismisses it as debris, because no ship could survive that catalog of destruction and still fly. The commander's mandibles lock. Her augments calculate tonnage, shield remnants, probable armaments. The numbers don't add up to a threat. The facts do. The boy stands slowly. His reflection glows in the viewscreen as the scarred warship rotates, presenting its flank. The vessel's design finally clicks. Not a factory model, not even military. The framework is an old deep space freighter, the kind humans used to haul reactor fuel. Except now missile pods bristle where cargo modules once hung. Plasma batteries nestle between structural ribs. It shouldn't work. It absolutely does. 3 things happen in succession. The war chant resumes over comms, deeper now, layered with new voices. The scarred ship's engines flare blue-white, the same intensity as the boy's eyes in the glass, and Dominion tactical. Systems belatedly recognize the vessel's registry. An unarmed civilian transport reported destroyed 17 years prior during Operation Cindergale. A regrettable collateral incident. The commander's exoskeleton locks momentarily, her nerve feed short-circuiting. She remembers Cindergale, a minor resistance cell purged, necessary extermination per doctrine. No survivors, no witnesses. The boy's fingertip leaves the armrest. You missed the point, he says, so softly it's almost kind. We didn't build a navy. Outside, the scarred ship's weapons power up with a hum that vibrates through the bulkheads. We grew one. Every surveillance report scrolls behind the commander's eyes in damning sequence. Human ships disappearing near stellar nurseries, assumed destroyed. Hull fragments found drifting, convenient confirmation. No one checked. If the wrecks matched registry records, no one thought to cross-reference disappearances with silent beacons. The scarred ship fires first, not at the dreadnought, at the relay buoy network maintaining Dominion fleet coordination. Perfect shot, minimal waste. The kind of precision that comes from practicing one maneuver for years. The exact maneuver the commander suddenly realizes they've all been performing. Her fleet, her strategies, her blind spots, like puppets, dancing to strings humans tied a generation ago. Her chair collapses as she stumbles back, not from impact, from revelation. The boy remains standing. He watches the scarred ship rotate its other flank to reveal fresh missile racks, neither gloating nor pitying, just patient. The way apex predators watch wounded prey, understand its fate. Imperial downfall. Patterns scroll uselessly in her augments. Rome, Britain, the Dominion, all fractured by the same flaw, believing occupation equaled control. That studied populations couldn't study back harder. The boy's people didn't just map Dominion tactics. They engineered an entire war where perfect counters existed. Before first contact, klaxons howl. The commander's neural feed flickers with damage reports, not from the scarred ship alone. Across the system, silent human vessels emerge, all modified merchant hulls, all bearing marks of previous Dominion victories. Their formation makes no sense tactically. It makes perfect sense genetically. Predators recalling the pack. The war chant peaks, sinking with the first volley of torpedoes. They don't swarm like Dominion munitions. They move in staggered pulses, each adjusting course mid-flight in response to hand signals from gunners. No targeting AI to hack. The commander's last clear thought is a tactical abstract from Earth's antiquity. Guerrilla warfare's essence is rendering the enemy's strength irrelevant. The boy exhales as the first torpedo finds its mark. On screen, the scarred ship peels away, mission complete, leaving the rest to the wolves. The boy watches Dominion ships burn across the view screen, their wreckage drifting like embers. No triumph lights his face, just the calm of a gambit completed. His reflection floats among the fires as the war chant echoes through failing comms. "We don't kneel," he says. The words carry across the fleet, quiet and final. The galaxy will record this as rebellion. It wasn't. Rebels strike when cornered. Humans had plotted this since the first kneeling order, turning occupation into reconnaissance, patience into trap construction. The chant's last note fades as screens darken, leaving one truth: never mistake endurance for submission. Wolves remember. A towering Dominion soldier looms over a 17-year-old human boy, his weapon humming with lethal energy. "Kneel or die," he growls. The crowd of alien citizens trembles, already on their knees. But the boy, just a kid, really, smiles. "Kneel? I'd rather not. Bad knees." The soldier hesitates. That smile, it's not fear. It's something far more dangerous. And when the gray-bearded elder whispers, "I've seen that smile before," you realize this isn't just defiance. It's the first move in a game humanity has been playing for centuries. The dust catches the sunlight as it swirls around the Dominion, soldier's boots, his energy weapon casting a pale blue glow across the boy's face. The boy doesn't blink. Around them, the colony square is silent except for the shuffling of knees against stone. A dozen alien species, traders, laborers, prisoners, press their foreheads to the ground. Only the human remains standing. The soldier barks the order again. This isn't negotiation. The Dominion doesn't negotiate. Their rule is iron enforced. By plasma, their doctrine clear, submission or eradication. But doctrine doesn't account for a teenage boy with calloused hands and a smile that doesn't reach his eyes. He shifts his weight casual as if they're discussing the weather. "Bad knees," he says. A murmur runs through the crowd. Not fear. Recognition. An elder with gray-tipped mandibles leans toward his neighbor. The words are barely audible, but They cut deeper than any blade. I've seen that smile before. His voice carries the weight of someone who remembers the last species that defied the Dominion. Their planet still burns in the debris field bordering the sector. Dominion training simulations don't account for defiance without desperation. They expect cowering or rage, terror or reckless attacks. Not humor. Not a boy who stands loose-limbed, relaxed, while a cannon could vaporize him in half a breath. Decades of psychological studies on occupied populations outline predictable responses: submission, passive resistance, eventual rebellion. None mention jokes about bad joints. The soldier hesitates. His finger tenses on the trigger, then relaxes. A fatal pause. 2 streets over, a merchant's cart tips. No one notices the way the boy's eyes flick toward the sound. No one connects. The dominoes. The bad knees quip delivered exactly 7 seconds before the diversion. The elders whisper time to noted Dominion audio sensitivity in the left auditory receptor. Every resistance cell in the quadrant knows the Dominion's tactical manuals better than their own operatives. This isn't a boy refusing an order. It's humanity's opening gambit in a war they've been planning since the first Dominion boots crushed alien soil. The soldier doesn't realize it yet, but his hesitation just proved something far more dangerous than rebellion. He proved they can be stalled. The first rule of hunting predators: if they pause, they can be killed. A clatter echoes from the docking bays. The soldier's helmet snaps toward the noise. Behind him, the boy's smile sharpens. The fluorescence in the interrogation chamber flickers like a dying insect. Every surface is polished steel. No shadows, no blind spots. The boy's boots scrape against the floor as 2 armored guards shove him toward the center. The Dominion commander watches from behind a console, her exoskeletal fingers tapping. The display. Her lieutenant stands at attention, his mandibles twitching in anticipation. Protocol is clear. Prisoners kneel. The Dominion demands physical confirmation of hierarchy before any conversation begins. The boy looks at the spotless floor, then up at the commander. "Kneeling's intimate where I'm from," he says. "Reserved for prayer. Or proposals." His voice is light, conversational, as if they're discussing the weather instead of his impending torture. The lieutenant's armored fist slams into the boy's ribs hard enough to stagger him. "You will assume your place," he hisses. The impact would fracture human bone. The boy exhales sharply, then straightens. He wipes blood from his lip, examining it on his fingertips with detached curiosity. "You're right," he admits. "I should know my place. Humans are very bad toys. Too many sharp edges." The room chills. The commander's fingers stop moving. Wit is a weapon in interrogation chambers. History shows laughter disarms torturers more effectively than screams. Prisoners in 20th century wars survived by weaponizing absurdity. Polish resistance fighters correcting their captors' grammar. Jewish inmates in Nazi camps mocking their guards' stupidity to their faces. Humor steals the script from authoritarians. They expect fear. Defiance throws them off balance. The commander leans forward. "The square," she says. "What was the exchange?" "Your people communicated something. Was it coordinates, a countdown?" Interactive starlings, birds that flock with millisecond precision, use subtle chirps to coordinate. Human resistance cells operate the same way. The boy's bad knees line wasn't random. Every colony knows Dominion patrols shift their auditory sensors left when scanning crowds. The elder's whisper was precisely timed, precisely placed. A code hidden in plain sight. The boy spits red onto the steel floor. "If I'd given a code," he says, "you'd already be dead." Silence. The lieutenant's hand drifts toward his sidearm. 2. Slow alarms blare in the corridor outside. The commander's console lights up with overlapping distress signals. The boy doesn't smile now. He watches the display with clinical interest as the reports flood in. Docking Bay 7 breached. Reactor core access points compromised. Behind him, the chamber door seals with a hiss. The lieutenant's weapon clears its holster. The boy tilts his head. "Sharp edges," he repeats softly. Gunfire rattles the hallways. Closer now. The surveillance cell throbs with the hum of Dominion. Dampeners, white noise generators designed to prevent recording. Steel walls absorb sound, making confessions vanish like smoke. The boy sits across from the commander, wrists resting loose on the table. Bruises darken his jaw. You think lies make you dangerous? The commander's vocalizer distorts her amusement into something mechanical. The boy watches her with the patience of a hunter counting a prey animal's breaths. Lies? Do you know what actually makes humans dangerous? His fingers tap the table once. Not nervous. A metronome Dominion intelligence reports list humanity's deficits. No natural armor, slower reflexes, musculature inferior to reptoids or Zelac. Their weapons are decades behind Dominion plasma tech. Yet 3 frontier outposts have gone dark this cycle. The commander's mandibles twitch. Enlighten me. The boy leans forward. Not strength, not numbers. We learned the trick every small species does. You look harmless while sharpening the knife.